minute.
Things change. Taking your omega-3s.
Or do you want to wait like
I'm
5
2 years away
minutes?
from 50.
We can leave it up to them.
Oh yeah, keep going.
50 is the new 40, that's right.
It really
I feel
is.
to be 50 again.
I feel my body tells me I'm about 35. So I feel young,
It does.
and my mentality tells me I'm like a solid 22.
I still think I'm 20 something, yeah. But then I have torn meniscus, so like, okay, I'm not 20 in my body. I have to.
No, I have multiple surgeries, injuries, broken bones,
Yeah.
a lot of dumb things
Well,
like
you're not
that.
Wolverine anymore. You're not
The only thing I did do,
Yeah.
the only thing I did do is, I stopped riding my motorcycle. I decided, I came home. I told my wife, I said, I'm done. She goes, with what? I go, oh, no, babe. With riding my motorcycle. And she goes, every single time you went out, it really scared me.
Yeah.
Someone I know died, and I've had a couple friends pass. And I've had a lot of close calls, and I go, you know what? I'm an endorphin, dopamine seeker guy. Like, I need action in my life. So I've always, rock bands, motorcycles. This is what I'm doing right now. It's keeping me a little busy.
Yeah.
It gets me excited, but I just realized, my kids are still in high school. I just need to slow down. And so it's really, really hard for me because I'm an enthusiast. We cafe racers, Italian and British bikes. And it's really cool pulling up in a coffee shop with your crew.
What kind of bike you have?
I ride Triumphs and Moto Guzzis. None of those really large, annoying Harleys. Those people are annoying.
I always picture you with a big, like, Harley
Chopper. No.
Okay, you guys, it's 6:02. We can either wait
There's
like
3 kinds of riders. There's the ones that pass you 120 miles an hour on the freeway. They're bright orange or bright green. And then you have the guys.
Yes, you can start if you.
So we can either have Victor start.
You can have.
We can either have Victor start.
Do we have quorum?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Let's roll.
Okay. Your
Um,
vice chair. Oh, yeah, give him the prompt.
You want a gavel?
Nice one with my name on it.
But anyways, I just probably saved 30 years of my life. I'd stop riding.
I think, I thought about the same thing.
Yeah, don't ever
Should I-
start.
I've had my close calls, I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, don't. It's not worth it. Sure is cool though. My wife's happy.
Oh, I'm sure she
So selling my motorcycles and buying my 16-year-old his first car. That's important.
All good?
yes, we have a little
Okay.
bit of starting language if you want to look at
Oh,
it.
yeah, the starting language.
I mean, last time
You're good without it?
Yeah, I feel that should be fine. I mean, that's
Okay.
a 6:04, call the meeting to order. Okay.
Jan's here.
Oh,
Up, yeah.
There we go.
go.
Motion passes. Motion passes to remove the chair.
Now it's been replaced.
Unanimous.
So moved. Let's go.
Alright, you had a good run.
Good evening, Chair.
20 minutes.
One Padre game?
20 minutes to get out of the parking garage, probably because of the fun.
Yeah, the Padres probably playing.
They won?
82 from what I heard. So, pity to the Pittsburgh Pirates fans.
I just called the meeting to order, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay, cool.
At 6:04 a.m. or p.m. Sorry, and I will call roll. Chair Budding,
Here.
Commissioner Disharu, Commissioner Hopita,
Here.
Commissioner Nzunza,
Present.
and Commissioner Lopez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, the next item on the calendar is item 3.1. Approval of the November 8th, 2023 meeting minutes.
Start
Motion.
from Page 5.
Anybody move to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the meetings as if.
Second?
Second. Or is
Any
it?
discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, passes, 500. Written communications, got a request by Commissioner Nzunza for an excused absence on February 14th and February 28th. I move that we approve that.
Second.
Discussion? This is a section on the agenda for the members of the public to address the board. have any?
We have 2 public comments. You guys ready?
You're going.
Robert, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, board. I know, good day. Hope you guys are doing well. Can start off with a friendly, hope you guys are doing good. Been going through cancellations after cancellations of people not showing up to meetings, so it's good to have you guys show up and have a quorum to have a meeting. I've been working throughout the year, trying to get information out, make sure the public's informed. There's still no link that access from like your calendar, like on the event, to the actual paperwork or something to your page so people can get to the information. A lot of boards have already done this, and I gotta bring it up because it came through my audit when I was looking at the calendar event and seeing that there's no links to help the public get to the information better. I do know that a lot of the time I'm hard on people, and it's just to be fair. If there's no pushback from the boards to check the staff and check the paperwork and have a policy that requires someone to do that, the citizens have to do it. And then when I'm doing it, like I said, it really isn't a problem because we can fix it. When it becomes a problem is when no one wants to fix anything. And I don't find that throughout the city. I find it sparsely, right? And I try to help address those issues so we can get them fixed and so the community can be involved. I do have a lot of other public comments, so I'm just going to stick real general to this one and try to let you guys know, like, we have your backs on certain issues, but when the public shows up, you know there's some issues on the papers that are coming up. So I appreciate the public for showing up too. We are live streamed, and I encourage you guys to like check it out and see what everything looks like. But other than that, I appreciate you guys for showing up.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Clarifying question?
Yeah. Robert, what information are you not getting with respect to our commission?
My next audit will be in email forms, so like when you guys send out a notice to the public that the meetings are happening, I'm going to be figuring out if those are coming through and then letting staff know if their emails are not coming out. But this that I'm specifically talking about right now is the calendar. When you click on the event from the calendar, if you look at other events, there's links that go with it, some information to inform the public on what the calendar event is about.
It's an accessibility issue, right? Like that's what you're referring to?
Yeah, like instead of one click on the page and it takes you right to you guys, you gotta search it and
Through the
go.
thing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot more difficult
I know
for
what you're talking
the
about.
layman to find.
So, thank you.
We have Cheryl as a public comment. You have 3 minutes.
I would just like to ask you all to take a few seconds when you leave to notice that the Purple Heart flag is flying at the flagpole to honor and remember our Purple Heart combat wounded and killed in action from our community, and also that City Hall was lit up in purple too in honor of those that made the sacrifice for our country's freedom. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for public comment.
Okay, action items. Nominate and elect chair and vice chair for the next fiscal year, 2024-2025. Does anybody want to nominate anybody to be the chair?
Who wants to do it?
What's the
You
term? You still want to do it?
No, we have to go through the nomination. I'll be more than happy to stay on for another year if people want me to stay on for another year.
Second.
I nominate Chair Budding for 4 more years.
Yeah.
Oh no, for the 24-25 fiscal year.
I'll term out in 4 years.
And you seconded it?
Before the motion was made.
Anybody else? Any other nominations?
No nomination. I would at one point I'll just let this commission know I would like to seek that at one point, but all out of respect to Mr. Chair Buddy here. So
We're also doing vice chair or just chair right now?
Just chair right now.
Oh, just chair. Okay.
All right. Nominations closed. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Me? Opposed? No, so passes 4-0-1. Okay, same question for vice chair.
Second.
I nominate Vice Chair Lopez for 4 more years, or for the 24-25 vice chairmanship.
And we already have a second, right?
Yes, we do.
Any other nominations?
All right.
All right. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
Passes 4-0-1.
Thanks, guys.
Item 5.2. Post-annual report for fiscal year. Did it get sent? Is that in the packet?
Yes, starts on page 11.
It's not very long. So, yeah.
I had a question.
Sure.
Was the thing that was on the ballot that the electorate voted for, was that in 2023 or 2022?
It was 2022,
Okay.
right?
Correct.
Things start to put together then. So,
Special K as the
Oh, yeah.
Commissioner.
That's our glory.
That's our laurels.
so, do we have any public comments on this?
No.
Any clarifying questions for staff before? No? Okay, feel free, trust me.
And thank you for the big font, because I didn't bring my reading glasses. I'm able to read this.
Do we need to make a motion so you are authorized to finalize and submit, or can we just approve it?
It's gotta be by motion.
I move that we approve the presentation compiled by chair and authorize him to finalize and submit.
I second.
Any discussion? No, hearing none, all in favor?
Guys, actually, sorry, one little thing. On 6, you know how it says the commission continue to review ranked choice voting? I kind of took more the impression that we decided to just like, I don't know if continue to review is right. I think it's more like,
Well, this is what we did,
yeah,
Past tense.
and we did review it several times ad nauseum.
okay.
For like 4 years.
Sorry, it's just like I'm doing
4
somewhere,
years
so.
we've been talking about it.
He wants to review the review.
Oh, yeah. Review the review of the review.
Alright, I stand corrected.
Alright, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 5-0-0. And if you note, item 5.6 on the agenda.
Yeah, I did. I didn't know why, but
Okay, that passes. So, discussion, item 5.3, discussion and possible action regarding communication to the city council on a potential amendment to charter section 303C to extend the timeline to fill a council member vacancy by appointment. Do we have any clarifying questions for staff before we go to public comment? Hearing none, do we have any public comment?
We have two.
Okay.
Robert, you have 3 minutes.
Some things I'm against and some things I'm not against, like I said. You know, I'm a news person who wants to give more time for the public to be aware of certain things, right? I can be reasonable with my outlook on things too, and getting more time to do that is not a negative thing if you ask me. Now, I come from a space where I've kind of been trying to teach myself this, so a lot of other people are, it's just gonna go over their heads, so there has to be some sort of community input into these things. One thing I would suggest for the future, like items that you guys wanna bring up to the city council or something, is to maybe get staff to do a survey or something to include the public in the voting, like the process. You know, like you guys could sit around here and have the 5 greatest ideas, but there could be one guy just outside the room who inspires you to want to do more or change the way that you're looking at it. Not saying I disagree with this once again. That was just my one critique on the lack of community involvement, I think, right? And I've only been here so long, so I can't speak of forever, but from what I can see, there could be ways, just as like other departments reach out to the public and ask opinion on things, that it could be brought to more people. So, you know, I don't really ever say if I'm in support or I'm against something, right? It's just, it's never really crossed my path yet to do that. But in the understanding of why you guys are extending the time and all of this, I almost say I support extending the time. That would just be for my public comment to say I support it. What you guys do is what you guys are going to do, but reaching out to the public is always a good way to like show a bridge being built, whether it's with the police and the citizens or the city and the citizens. So, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
We have Cheryl. Cheryl, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I don't think Robert was filming when I actually brought this here to the commission after the last employment process. So I want to thank you for listening and taking into consideration everything we said and coming up with something. And just to recap why we did bring it, I think the current amendment was probably done before we had in the extended amount of time needed to get mail-in ballots done. So when they came up with this time frame, I don't think we were certifying elections the first week of December. They were being done earlier. So the public did have more time to look into candidates and vet. But now with the certification in December, and then by the time the council declares it vacant, it's closer to the holidays, and then we're going through New Year's, and by the time the candidates get it in, we don't have much time to even know that something's going on. So I really appreciate you extending it to 60 days, which I believe was, I heard that the longest you could extend it. So I just want to say thank you, and I hope, good luck with getting this one through the council. I hope that they'll agree with you because it helps the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioner comments? This sounds like something we should recommend to the city council. Does anybody disagree with that?
I want to thank both our public comments. I think that public input and transparency is always the best policy. I think I brought up, maybe in the last couple of meetings, I think I brought up the point that when the public comments made about the validity of going through the Thanksgiving and holiday season where people are offered 2 to 3 weeks, it kind of robs the opportunity of applicants. And you know, we're all watching Christmas movies and whatnot. Not a lot of news going on the last 3 weeks of December. But I'd like to. I'm not sure if it's an amendment, Chairman, but maybe given the opportunity to the council and the mayor to say, you know, I think we can push this another 20, 30 days or 60 days. I'd like to give at the very minimum the mayor and the council the opportunity to extend it, because not all vacancies occur and not all special elections or vacancies occur right in November. It could happen in the middle of the summertime, or it could happen in the middle of the springtime, and all of a sudden, you know what? I think we do have enough time to make a decision. But if it was a circumstance, if it's around the holiday season, I definitely see that. So I come from the mindset of giving, not going to the charter where they have to do it within a certain time frame, but giving them the flexibility and the opportunity to extend it by 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 60 days. I'm not sure if that's an amendment that needs to be made, but I certainly believe that they should have the ability to have that flexibility. Open discussion. I don't know what you guys think.
Doesn't it say up to
We
X
say,
number of days?
90.
we do up to, and
Yeah.
60 days was the
Or 60.
recommendation from the clerk's office, because there are issues with like calling elections and all of those
Right.
things, so she recommended not going beyond 60 days,
Yeah.
but we would say up to, so they could do it sooner than that or
Right.
later than that, but that would be so just setting the maximum, that would need to be set in the charter.
Right.
That's the recommendation. Yeah.
Right, so, but it would be a charter amendment.
Correct, it would be a
Yeah.
charter
So,
amendment.
Yeah.
so it sounds like we should agree to present this to the city council.
Per the recommendation of the city clerk? Is that what we were
Up
saying?
to 60 days, and that was what I heard you all discuss
Yeah.
previously.
That's my memory.
Yep.
So we'll go ahead and I move that we present the amendment to extend the time period to the city council. Any seconds?
I second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 500. On a related topic, the next issue is gonna be, who wants to present. We don't need to vote on that, but, we need to get on the council agenda, and then we need to decide who wants to present it, and it should be somebody presenting in person, along with an amendment. Does anybody here really wanna do that? I'd be willing to do that.
I'll do it, I'll get my feet wet.
Okay. Yeah, good. And so Victor will present it, and I would encourage anybody else on the commission to attend with him. And if he wants to bring somebody up, he can, but he'll be the presenter, and he'll be the one responding to questions.
Earning that vice chair pay.
Check still doesn't come in, but.
We double his pay for making the presentation.
And so our office previously presented an amended form of this. Do you want me to resend that to you? It was an attachment to a previous agenda, so it would just show them in red line strikeout format what the amendment would be.
Sure.
Okay.
That would be perfect. That's the way to present it to them. That way they.
They can see what it was to what it is being proposed as.
Alright, that's good.
I
Okay.
heard Michael wanted to join me on that one.
I gotta lay low for that.
Yeah,
Lay low.
I can understand why you don't want to present this stuff.
That's fair.
5.4, discussion and possible action regarding communication to city council regarding suspension of city council member charged with a felony. This was not, it was lukewarm to be, it didn't receive unanimous support from the council. In fact, it was a very tepid response by the council. The questions, my recollection of the questions, they weren't super questions. Nobody really got down into the weeds relative to, specifics and, what's a felony, blah, blah, blah. I mean, everybody was lukewarm, for sure. So, it doesn't sound like something that we should push. I mean, we could still make a formal recommendation to the council if we wanted to, and then let the council go ahead and vote on it and decide whether or not they want to pursue it. But those are my thoughts. Any comments?
I do have one public comment for 5.4. Robert, you have 3 minutes.
Like I said, there's gonna be some things I agree with you guys on and some things I don't. I'm a constitutionalist, right? Let's just start there. I was arrested, right? Charged with a felony, but I wasn't convicted. So that's the problem with that whole situation. Is I've been through the system. Most people haven't even been through the system to have a formulated opinion on how you're going to be treated as a felon, right? I wasn't even a convicted felon, but when they threw me in jail, they took a DNA swab of me. They removed all of my rights to privacy, right? So you already get treated as a felon, even though you technically aren't, because it's off the conviction, not the charge. I tried to go to the police department's meeting, you know, to show I'm trying to change and do good things. What held me back? A charge of a felony, not a conviction. You know, and so, you know, it's gonna be lukewarm to people who respect innocent until proven guilty. You know, and then once you prove them guilty, there's already the stuff in there that they're guilty. And I understand that freedom is like dangerous like that. You know, we're gonna let a possible convicted person, right, possible, but it's not guaranteed that they're actually a felon. So I give it up to the city council for trying to stick up for our constitution in that, right? But should we continue to push the efforts to do it? It just drives more division. Like, there's other things that could be focused on. I know there are. The charter has to do with a lot of things, so I'd widen the scope, not focus on like the conviction of the felon. I'd widen it to include, not saying I support that, but I'm saying that if the staff is committing misdemeanors, right, of not doing their work, which some things are a misdemeanor if you don't do your job here at the city, right? Like if you decline to take a FOIA, you know, but you'd have to work it into the policy or the charter review that the employees are going to be held to account compared to, like right now, there's no held to account for a misdemeanor. Right? The city can just commit as many misdemeanors, and I got to go all the way to the state to deal with it, where we could deal with it locally. That's just my 2 cents.
Great, thank you, Robert. So, you know, Robert raises some good points about, you know, innocent till proven guilty and all that. I mean, and we've gone back and forth on these issues here in the commission. I think it's just one of those things where, you know, unless we get incredible public feedback that, you know, that's what they want, or the council says, you know, please draft something for us, it's just one of those things that we probably should just keep on the back burner and not present.
Yeah, I agree. You know, my memory, because we've talked this issue, you know, several times, and that balancing act of a specific felony related to the public trust that is bestowed upon public servants is what we've talked, and it is backwards. If the DA thinks that the comparison of the act that the suspension tool is adept at outside of the judicial process to remove risk, I'll say. But none of us, in my memory, are just totally gung-ho about this. It's more been a response to a lot of the current events and the public sentiment that may be tepid, not even lukewarm, in my opinion, is what I hear from you, Chair. And I think it's just time to shelf it. Methodology of pulling in more and more. I do like the public comment about how do we engage the public in our task and you know, receive input and feedback while we are trying to form an approach to council. That's good, and maybe that's something that we, you know, tackle in a future. I think it's just time to shelf this because there's a lackluster response. That's where I'm at.
I apologize for rehashing old arguments that have already been discussed, but from what I recall, there was also the reason why I guess the suspension also came up was the council member that might be charged that's charged with the felony might be too distracted to do their public duty. They need to concentrate on, charge of felony. So that's part of the reason why the suspension was there temporarily until they're able to set up a defense or whatever. Or at least from what's been said so far, that if we're not getting a response from the city council, it's not going to pass anyway, even if we present a proposal. So if the temperature, I would also recommend to shelve it until there's an opportunity to push it again.
Yeah, we tried to make it really fair too. I mean, it's not like, it was punitive. We tried to say, you get your, reimbursed all this, you get, your back pay and all that stuff. Where
when this whole issue, when I got brought up to speed with everything, I mean, we were in a very heightened political climate with that whole situation going on, and I gotta say, originally I was very we should kind of pull, if they're even in those waters, like that argument that you said about, hey, they're too distracted, they get them out. But I gotta say, as time has passed on, I put myself, if I just everything that's been going on in just different situations and of accusations and words and how things have happened, I sit there and I think, God, if that was me, if I was a council member and they just threw some, case at me or whatever, and I know that it's not true, step down, the public might lose their trust, but I mean, there's so many factors that have been considered, and after chewing over this over time, I gotta say, I actually kind of, I flipped on this a little bit. I'm actually more, there's a law for a reason, and so many things can come out as time passes on. And if anything, I'm against that suspension. If the law, until you're convicted, you know what? I think I'd rather just follow the law after spending more time on this. It's just so many things have happened, and it's just not. I mean, you look at the presidential race, man. I mean, details come out, and even though things did happen, right? But it's not so much can happen. Commission, no. I would. I don't know if this is a motion, but I wouldn't even want to.
no motion pending, and also to follow up on Edgar's point, which is really one of the main reasons to do it, is unless you're the person who's been accused and you are trying to defend yourself and we don't know how that impacts people. So I mean, theoretically it could be possible to do it, and if it's possible, then there's no reason to suspend somebody. So I mean,
how it affects the people.
Accused person can go ahead and participate in the person's defense, but at the same time perform all the duties of the person's job. Then why are you getting?
Sometimes my decision that you're too distracted to do your job is wrong.
Right.
I'm not doing you a favor. I'm harming you. Is what he's saying.
So I guess
bad.
if it doesn't affect them, I feel
That's
like
what he's saying.
Yeah.
If it doesn't affect them, then hardly anybody's ever been in that position.
Yeah.
So.
Also, part of it could be also a distraction. So if that person's charged with the be on them as opposed to
That did happen.
That did happen, yeah.
We saw that.
Yeah.
That
How do you get around
Which is why I was there on the first side when this whole thing started, seeing what was happening.
that was very unfortunate, but I think the council as a whole handled that whole situation very well.
Happy that I was able to convince all of you over the last several meetings.
It's called leadership.
That's it. Thank you. You know what's more distracting? Getting fired for more distracting than going through a felony.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple reasons why somebody wouldn't be, but that's not our decision to make, is it?
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Good
Next
point.
item, 5.5, discussion of possible action regarding potential amendment to section 503D to remove the city attorney residency requirement. Do we have any public comments?
We have one. Robert, you have 3 minutes.
Watching First Amendment videos really pays off. It educates you on other cities and their policies, and it includes you on some of the situations that they find themselves in, right? And after watching several cities, I could name them, but it really doesn't matter. I've seen several situations where these, let's say, bigger towns, not Chula Vista size maybe, but relatively big towns in other states. What they have is a city attorney who's outside of their own jurisdiction. So when they need advice, or they're coming to the city council meetings, they have to drive in. They have to import themselves to the city council meetings. According to our rules, that's what would be happening. If they lived all the way in Northern California, and they had to come to the meetings, and they had to fly down here every 2 weeks, right? It doesn't require him to be here. That's the problem with it. Is if he lives somewhere else, he's going to be somewhere else. He's not going to be focused on Chula Vista as someone who is actually in the environment. We could hire someone from China, you know, according to like, they don't have to be a resident here. But I'm trying to play that advocate because there is no limit at that point. It could be someone in New York. So it doesn't seem reasonable that when the police and a lot of people depend on these certain opinions, right? For them to always have to pick up the phone. No, they should be able to have the face-to-face. And then even that attorney should be able to face-to-face with the local, right? When they're at the meetings, when I come in here for questions. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to remove a residency requirement, especially in a position of power, right? They're going to be making a lot of judgment calls for the city. And if you have someone who doesn't live in the city, they're not going to make the same call as someone who lives here. You know, and it goes back and forth, right? You want the best person, but at what cost? And we want investment. We don't want outside sources running our city. We want to be invested as Chula Vistas. So thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Clarifying question. Was that, and my thing's a little fuzzy about it, was the reason why this came up was because there was a challenge on getting a qualified city attorney from the Chula Vista area? Was that the reason why this thing came up?
I don't remember who requested it to be on the agenda.
Because in one of our meetings it came up
You did.
where,
I did.
You requested
Or-
it to be put on the agenda.
So,
Doris, like you said, Doris and Eva asked
so we
for
could
it.
talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I think
because we don't have enough qualified lawyer,
well, and so that's what my concern was when it first.
okay, that's my clarifying question, yeah.
And we've been really lucky. The elected city attorneys that we've had, so we've been lucky. But I remember that when it first came out, I was like, you know, I talked to some attorneys, including attorneys that worked here, and it's like, you know, do we have enough qualified attorneys living in the city of Chula Vista who could actually be a good city attorney? And so far, it seems like we have. So I don't believe that we should change this at all. What I, you know, you know me, my issue is, should we even have an elected city attorney? That's a completely different issue. So, you know, I would not remove the residency requirement. Does anybody think differently?
My thoughts on it before were there's a strata of people that deal with this at a different level than the majority of the public, and if they were of the opinion, hey, we got lucky, we dodged a bullet, we did get a good candidate, if they felt that way, and that would be the city attorney's office, the people that deal with the city attorney's office the most, you know, law enforcement. That was my only thought on why you would want to do something for an issue that to me is not broken, right? If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. My tenure on the Charter Review Commission has just been very favorable towards the city attorney office, and they compare strikingly well against all of the professional people that I knew in aerospace. The talent is just, I think, it's excellent. So I don't think it's broken, and I don't advocate it to fix it, but I do recognize that others could have intimate knowledge of details that I am unaware of. And if they felt that way, we should have that feedback by now, because we've talked it several times. So I would not move this forward to change.
Right. We'll table this issue then, unless anybody else has any comments before we go on. All right. Ranked choice voting update. Do we have any public comments?
We do, we have two. Cheryl, you have 3 minutes.
I'm just curious to why this is back on the agenda. I've actually gone back and looked at past charter review minutes and all that, and it seems like it has been years. I don't know, I wish I was kind of speaking afterward to hear what the update was. I'm kind of curious if it's about the survey that went out. I received that survey, and the questions, as most polls are, kind of lead you down a certain path to agree with something. It wasn't really a well-balanced questions. I do know that this is a national, well-funded national organization that is pushing for ranked choice voting here in California. I know that 3 governors have vetoed it. It started with Governor Brown, and Newsom has vetoed it twice because of the complexity of it. And I have looked into it, as several people I know have, and it seems to be the research is not holding up to what the ranked choice voting people say the pros are. The research is showing up on the side of it costing an awful lot of money and being very complex and very confusing, and it really is not something that's upholding democracy, it's really hurting democracy. If this is about because we don't want a primary, the 2 elections, saving money, whatever, then let's go back to what we used to have. If you get 50% plus 1 in the primary, you win. If we don't want to do the primary because that got changed because some people felt there weren't enough people voting in the primary, then let's just do like the water board does and like the school board does, and have 1 election in November, winner takes all. So there's other options to keep 1 person, 1 vote than making a very complex, expensive type of change to our voting system. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, you have 3 minutes.
Took the time trying to explain this to my dad, right? And I'm trying to explain to him, we pay for a voting system, right? We don't do the system ourselves, right? That's something that should be retained back with us to secure the vote. But in the current system, we pay the San Diego County to do this system. So imagine you have San Diego, they do it regular, and then you have Chula Vista, and we do it a different way, right? And so you're going to get different systems running 1 election, and then you're going to have to build a program to do these systems because the current provider doesn't offer that service, or it's going to cost you. So, and you're kind of putting yourself into the rock and the hard spot then, especially if you bring it on and don't even know what the systems are, have any examples of them. Like, you know, the great idea of free and fair elections, it's just unwholly not true, right? Like, if we were securing our elections, we'd be doing them locally, not giving them, passing the hand to people. But on top of it, you're talking about retraining the population to learn how to vote again. And my dad's going, you know, I'm just not going to vote. And I'm like, so we're going to change everything to deter more people from voting? Like, that's the ultimate, like, we're trying to increase the amount of people, legal voters, right? There's a lot of people who came across the border. Mail-in ballots, who's going to stop them? There's election security, and then there's like trying to change everything like they did during COVID, right? And they go, well, we don't need to ask the people, we're just going to change it without them. And that's exactly what they did. We didn't even vote on it. So, you know, I don't want our city to lead in those bad examples. I want our city to go, yes, in the past, the government has made some mistakes, but we can recognize those mistakes and build a better future for our kids to vote with tomorrow. Do I think this is the system? No, because we still haven't figured out the first one. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the public reflects the affectionately known as the zombie topic that we've talked to that just will not go away. We keep talking, and that's been the dialogue that we've had over and over. I think we had a champion for it in the past. It's no longer with us. I don't see us doing anything other than what we've done. If San Diego County were to do something and share the significant financial burden of creating something, it would be time to resurrect it again and look at it. But until that happens, I say we just shelve this and not have it on the recurring agenda. That's where I'm at with. Notionally, it's an attractive notion, right? Like, okay, a better, fair way. All of our investigation, interrogation, data, feedback, it seemed to indicate that it was the data didn't flesh out. It was, you know, suspect at best. That's where I'm at.
So it's on the agenda because kind of what you said. I mean, we should watch what the city does because the city's going to be the entity that it's been on their radar. If they vote on it and it gets in the register of voters, goes ahead and makes expensive modifications that need to be made, then it's something that we should look at seriously. I disagree about the data not showing. In fact, the data shows that more and more public entities throughout the country are starting to, and there's different types of ranked choice voting too, and that's part of it. And also a lot easier because then it will eliminate X number of candidates, and so it's one of those things where we need to keep our mind open and keep our ears open for this particular reason. It's something that is going to come up again when the city of San Diego goes ahead and approves it. So I think, you know, if you see something, let us know. And we can put it on the agenda to discuss any really good ideas that you've seen. Some agendas, so I can let you guys know. And if you see something that you think will work in this regard, let us know and put it on the agenda.
That's fair enough. I appreciate that comment about what I call analysis. So the investment up front of changing our system could, over a span of 20 years of not having runoffs, save, you know, X, Y, Z, and you do need to analyze that once it's moved forward. And I think that's really sound advice. Keep reading it, and that is something that I enjoyed about this subject. Has caused me to look at it more and more. It's a fascinating subject, but
And political climate in general. For the sake of our commission, I think for our purposes, I think it doesn't need to be on the agenda. I think we'll know when you will put this on. I mean, look at what we did with the council member situation. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of stuff. I'm hearing about some good people that have been pushing charter review, or excuse me, no, that has not. I have not had a deficiency of information. I've actually been getting more recently. So that's how I feel about that.
Any other comments? Okay.
We do have 2 available openings, so if you guys know of anybody that would like to apply, for this commission.
Do they need to be by specific district or?
That's an at-large appointment.
At large.
Okay.
All of our,
Just kind of recommend, is that kind of what happens?
No, for this commission, it just is.
so,
Odd termed off.
okay. All right. So it's just us
So
five
you have, the 5.
people who are involved, and we all volunteer. Not if you know somebody who you think would, you know, be contribute to this commission, let them know. Encourage them to apply.
Can you send us that link, please?
I can.
That'd be helpful. I can forward that around.
Probably, hopefully we'll have the city attorney joining you. He was gonna be here tonight and staffing the meeting. He may be staffing. I can't guarantee that, but I don't think so.
Filipino Heritage Night was like on Wednesday or something like that.
Anybody else have any comments?
I have a, did I interrupt somebody? Drive for us to assist the city on the homelessness issue that's near. I'd like to make a motion that we create an ad hoc committee. Can we do that without this being?
We would have the creation of an ad hoc subcommittee.
Let's do that.
And also, I'm outreach team, they had conflicts tonight, weren't able to attend, but they do know about our next meeting, right, Doris? And they've
Correct.
agreed that the staff will come and do a presentation on the homeless outreach team's work, efforts, and what they try to do. And also there's a council meeting in September that will likely address homeless issues, so you will have that update and information at the next
And
meeting.
our next meeting would be
No Padre game excuses.
okay,
So,
great. I look forward to that.
fleshing it out though, we're the Charter Review Commission, what kind of charter?
The issue, and to me, it's staggering. To me, you know, I bike and I hike, you know, down by. My wife and I do that together, and you know, there's a security concern when you're with homelessness around you, with some of the risks that drug and alcohol abuse, mental illness, and then the down and out. That's three basic categories of the drive to create. Reach that point in life. So the security that I feel growing up in Chula Vista, because I've been in every area, you know, I guess I created some of the high-risk situations when I was a young man, but I was never bothered by going into any neighborhoods, you know, but I'm bothered now, and I think we are at significant risk of creating harm to our community by having this wonderful development and not being able to solve in time. Everybody faces in every state. I go everywhere. It's always an issue that I have on the CRC to assist my community with this. And once I else, because I just feel driven to help try to solve this. Going into the endeavor to deal with homelessness, my paradigm that I'm open to being proven wrong is we're not channeling that energy. All of my aerospace experience was you got a person that led it, and he or she owned it, and then that person owned the interface of all these swim lanes. And in homelessness, there's multiple swim lanes, right? There's law enforcement, there's city attorney, there's public safety, there's charities that get involved. Everybody's trying to do something, but is it? This is the structure. And once again, I would advocate it's a section of the CRC that's very in-depth. Now, I know that we have, I look forward to hearing that report and to hearing everything. And what I would expect to see coming away from that is some of my paradigm has been chipped away. And there are a channel all those endeavors and does a liaison aspect of, hey, you on the city attorney, you need to be assisting this momentum, and then you solve some things and you move out of the negative to the positive. I don't see us doing that. Maybe we are. Measure some things. I'm a measurement guy, quality assurance. You don't impact what you don't measure. So what are the measurements? I'd have that everybody in the city, you know, we now have 8,000 homelessness individuals and you know, that's the way I would attack every problem I've ever faced. Put it visual, and everybody owns a piece of impacting that. I don't see it. Maybe it exists, and we'll be blown away, and I'll just say, okay, man, it's got structure for as far as organizational change management. Who does what? How do they do it? What's the expectation? What's the result? Who's volunteer? Are the volunteers being held accountable to follow the guidance of this director or whatever the position is? We don't want people servicing the homelessness population in a park. Maybe that's something true, then I would expect charity representatives to adhere to, hey, we don't want to do that. We want a central location. I don't know the solution. I just know that I think we are at grave risk of jeopardizing where this city is as far as the potential for us to take a step function improvement with the Gaylord, as well as I see harm in my fellow man because of this issue and it keeps me away. That's it in a nutshell, Chair.
You should do, you should contact Lieutenant Piñero from the hot teams.
He'll probably be attending to
Yeah.
do part of the presentation.
Yeah, that's in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should contact the office and meet with their staff. You'll do a couple of ride-alongs, police or firefighter. You'll
So we'll put it on the ad hoc. I'm definitely going to try to pony up to lead that and be at least be a part of it. And you know, like I say, maybe us to help, but I at least want to find out. And if there is, I want to try.
Could we get you to unretire and go to work for Boeing? Sounds like they need you.
You're retired? You're too young.
So, one of the issues though with the presentation, what they should focus on, if they're presenting to us, is what can we do to help relative to the charter? In other words, what things in the charter can be tweaked to help them? That should be a focus.
Well, I can tell them what information you're looking for, whether they can give you that or make an opinion on that would be up to them. But yes, I can definitely communicate what you're and what the impetus behind the request is for sure. And it's actually a good time. We just did our own local point in time count that its own, which is fairly unique, which collects a lot more data, I think, than the county one does. I'll have that update for you as well. That was just done earlier this week.
But get them thinking about, they're presenting to us, so how can we help? So,
Correct.
Yeah, I would say definitely not trying to push. I'm trying to pull.
Yeah.
What can the CRC do?
There may be nothing, it may be everything that we hear, ordinance-related type of things.
Yeah, and they work within the ordinance, not at the charter level, but they still may have insight. You might have questions for them about how, things that no one has thought of yet, or that, that somehow a connection's then made and an idea comes up.
Yeah. Perfect. Any other commissioner comments? All right. This is going to sound really weird, but I'm adjourning this meeting to November 13th, 2024 at 6 p.m. And what time is it?
7:01?
Wow.
7:02.
Okay. If I wasn't late, it would have been under an hour, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
It was worth the wait, Chair.
Thank you, everybody.
Although, did a wonderful job.
Got a solid 13 seconds.
That short-lived power you had.
Thank you for the public comments.
You